Once I was trying to take a picture of a shoot a picture of a tiger near a watering hole in India. I don't remember the place now, but this was long back. At least 15, 20 years back. I was lying down on a rock behind a lot of bushes and everything, and had one of those tele zoom lenses, and I was trying to shoot this tiger. When it came to drink water, and there was a small cliff behind me. I did not realize that that is a place where the elephant herds come, and this elephant herd had come, and they were munching their food and everything on that cliff, and they decided to you know, do their natural thing, which is shit this side of the cliff. So you can imagine the, you know, a big ball of elephant shit falling from almost say 60, 70 feet above you from a cliff and lands on your back. So can you imagine what kind of a situation it was? My back was full of elephant shit, and obviously it was heavy because it was quite dry, and it was a big ball. And when I went back to the, you know, the living quarters in the forest area, I saw that there was a small rash on my back because it fell from such a height. So this was one of the funny incidents I remember while trying to shoot a tiger, and you know, getting hit by elephant shit.
Sundarban's delta is the largest delta in the world. Some of it is in India and the rest of it is in Bangladesh. Sundarbans can be reached from Kolkata. I was traveling with a group of photographer friends on a cruise in the Sundarbans Delta. I wanted to take a picture of the tiger. I was lucky because on the second morning I was able to see a tiger on one of the smaller islands on the delta. It was an amazing sight because seeing a Royal Bengal tiger in a cage in the zoo and seeing it in the wild are two different things. It has such beautiful stripes. There is a regal behavior about it. The way it watches, the way it prays, the way it walks. There's something really royal about the Royal Bengal tiger. Now we saw the tiger looking at us through some bushes. It slowly came outside and started staring at us. The boat captain thought that this is the right place to probably put down the anchor and watch it. We took some photographs. The tiger, unperturbed, kept staring at us for some time and then vanished into the forest. So we said, let's stay here for the night, and tomorrow morning maybe the tiger will visit us again. Honestly speaking, when the tiger was looking at us, I felt it could see through my soul. It was that kind of a magical, beautiful moment. We slept peacefully for the night in the boat. These boats have cabins, so you can like sleep, you can have food, you can go to the toilets. It's completely fully furnished boats. Now, when it was morning, it was probably around 6:30 in the morning when there was a loud commotion. So all of us we got up, ran to the bridge, and we saw these local fishermen shouting. They were talking in the colloquial language of Bengali. So we asked the boat captain what happened. He said these fishermen had come in the night around 4 o'clock and they were sleeping on the boat because they wanted to take honeybees honey from the forest, And in the middle of the night, or around 4:30, just before sunrise, a tiger had approached stealthily, and it took away one of the persons who was the weaker of them all. And without making any noise whatsoever, it slowly took the man by his neck and went through the waters into the land and disappeared. It is then that we realized why the tiger was staring at us the other day, because it was trying to gauge which is the weaker of us so that it could prey on us. Now, our boat was a very difficult job for the tiger to climb, but the other boat, the local boat, was flat and smooth like any other boat. It was not a cruise, it was a simple wooden boat, and hence the tiger attacked and took away his prey. We realized that there were more man eating tigers in the Sundarbans than anywhere in the world. Dehradun is the capital city of the state of Uttarakhand, which is also known as Uttaranchal. It's surrounded by hills, and you can always see the lights of Mussoorie at night. I was teaching in a college called UPES, University of Petroleum and Energy Studies. I was there as a faculty for a small period of time. Now, one day I took a ride with another colleague of mine back home from the university. It was late in the evening and it was already dusk. So we had to ride through a small patch of land which is in a forested area. The bike had to cross a small stream. It was utter darkness all around us. There was nothing except the sound of the bike. And suddenly we got hit. We got hit by something, and both of us fell down on the ground. The headlight of the bike showed us that we were hit by a leopard. The leopard had also fallen down. Now, at this point of time, both of us were an easy prey for the leopard because leopard is a very strong animal. It has much higher muscle strength as compared to lions and tigers. But somehow the leopard did not care about us. It just got up and walked off into the forest. That was really a nightmare for us because we were face to face with a wild animal, one of the best wild cats that you can ever see. And that cat had no intention of preying on us. I would remember this night for the rest of my life. First time I saw a snake in my life was in my childhood. I was traveling with my grandfather in a place called Shantiniketan in West Bengal. This place is famous for snakes and silence and peace. While returning home from our evening walk, he had the urge to take the nature's call. It was very dark, and there were no lamps on the route. This was an inside lane, a shortcut that led straight to our home. Now the surrounding was quite dense and there was no public toilets. So he decided to attend to the nature's call in the darkness in that forested area. Now he was sitting and doing his activities when there was a rustling sound in the bushes ahead. He thought maybe it is a rat. And he was right because a rat suddenly passed by his legs. But what came later on was really shocking. The rat was followed by a snake. Now I understand that for a snake, the rat would be the dinner. And the snake actually rushed at a great speed and suddenly saw my grandfather sitting in the middle of its path. So my grandfather was blocking the prey and the predator. The snake came at a very high speed and suddenly stood there facing my grandfather with its hood raised at least 2 feet in the air. I did not know what snake it was then. Now I know it is a king cobra. But imagine how frightful it must have been for my grandfather and for me, because for a split of a second we did not know what to do. The snake was standing right there with its hood, and I don't know what happened, but somehow the snake turned around 180 degrees and just went away. It disappeared into the darkness. That day, my grandfather told me that he almost had a heart attack seeing something so majestic and so terrifying at the same moment.
In the year 1998, I was trekking to the Himalayas. I had gone to Gangotri with a couple of colleagues of mine, and we had to trek to Gomukh. Gomukh is a very, very important point in India because the holy river Ganges starts from there. There is a glacier there called the Gomukh Glacier, and the glacier is fed by three peaks known as the Shivling Peaks. It's about 12 or 14-kilometer trek through the rough terrains of the Himalayas, and we have to stop over for the night at a place called Bhoj Vasa. There are camps and there are concrete rooms also, which are available for all kinds of trekkers and travelers to that part of the Himalayas. So we stopped over in the night. We were sleeping in the tented accommodation. In the middle of the night, around 2 o'clock, I had to attend to nature's call. So I got up and I told a colleague of mine to come with me because out there it is absolutely dark. There is no noise except for the sound of the roaring river. It's absolute silence and absolute darkness. So I told him, listen, you come with me and I'll do whatever needs to be done and then we'll go back inside the camp. I also carried a stick in my hand just in case. So when I came out in the darkness, it took me some time to get adjusted to it. But before I could do anything, I could see this blinking of light at a distance. It was at quite a distance, as in 100 meters, 200 meters maybe. But I could see it clearly. So I told my friend, what do you think is that? Why is the light blinking? So first he said it's probably somebody's torchlight. I said, who would be wandering around in the forested area at 2 o'clock in the morning? He said, yes, that is a very valid question. So he said, maybe it's a small animal, a fox or something, which is probably foraging through the bushes. So I said, okay, fine. I moved a little ahead and then I saw two more things that were blinking in the dark. And then those two multiplied into four. So there were four of them, and then there were six of them. Now that scared me. I said, how come there are six of these? I said, forget everything, let's go back and sleep. Because there is no point, standing there in the dark because we don't know if it's a wild animal or if it's some human being. We don't know, and we do not have enough protection with us. So I forgot about the nature's call. I got so scared, and we came back and slept. Next morning, around 6 in the morning, we went out. It was beautiful sunny day, and there were birds chirping all around us. And I went straight to the hotel manager's room.
I asked the hotel manager, we saw something in the dark yesterday night. There were like six things which were shining in the dark. We guess they were eyes of some wild animals. So we asked him, were they foxes? He looked at me and he smiled and he said, no, sir, they were Himalayan black bears and cubs. So I said, you mean to say that yesterday night at 2 o'clock there were Himalayan bears roaming around in the campus? He said, yes, this is their territory. We have come into their territory and they are regular visitors here because there's a lot of food prepared in the kitchen of the hotel which gets wasted at times. So we leave it outside and they come and eat it. So imagine my state of mind because I thought they were foxes, but they turned out to be bears. So if I had stayed out for a little longer, then I would have definitely become the bear's meal for that night. So that was quite a close shave we had that day.
I was traveling with my friends to a place called Chilka. Chilka is one of the biggest freshwater lakes in India. It is situated in the state of Orissa. Now, we friends were walking down the railway track trying to take bird shots and small animals, pictures of small animals, birds, bees, and flowers. We were walking along the railway track and suddenly we saw this snake skin and we realized there must be a snake nearby. So all of us got excited and we started looking for the snake. And after almost 100 meters of walking on the tracks over the ballast, we spotted the snake. It was a reticulated Indian python and it was probably a baby python because the length of that python must have been probably 3 feet or 3.5 feet. It was coiled right there in the middle of the tracks. Now we thought that this track sees a lot of trains and it's important for us to kind of remove the python from the tracks. Otherwise, this poor baby may get killed. While we were thinking of this, a Brahmini kite from somewhere came down and picked the python in its claws and flew off. This was again a split of a second kind of a incident where we could not even take a shot. We could not have even taken out our cameras. So the python was in its claws and the bird was flying. And I was thinking, well, the python got rescued from the train tracks, but it's going to be eaten by the bird. And that made me feel so sad. I was almost feeling depressed, and I prayed to God, please let this snake live. And you won't imagine what happened. While the bird was flying over the lake, somehow it lost its grip and the snake fell into the lake. The lake was pretty far off, so I couldn't probably see, but I am sure that the snake, which is a good swimmer by birth, must have swam across to the land because the bird flew off into another direction. So both the prey and the predator lived to tell another tale.
Traveling through night, and it was heavy monsoon outside. The train stopped, and I walked out. It was 5 a.m. in the morning. I was surrounded by beautiful green forests and mountains, and there was the small stream running downwards. I took out my camera and started taking pictures of the greenery, the mountainscape, and some small birds. I was engrossed in my photography when someone
from behind shouted, "Hey, come back into the train." I looked behind me and saw this man frantically jumping up and down and saying, "Come back, come back." So I, without giving it a second thought, rushed up, climbed the stairs, and looked at the man. And I said, "What happened?" He said, "There is a leopard in the bushes." I looked, but I couldn't see anything. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, the leopard jumped. It jumped in mid-air and took a bird. This bird was trying to fly from one tree branch towards another tree, and the leopard must have jumped at least 5.5 feet into the air, caught its prey by the neck, and vanished. And I never had the time to even take a picture of such a beautiful moment.